Thanks for logging on to myfoxhurricane.com. So as we go through the month of August, it is pretty much fair game. Everywhere you go is open to see some sort of tropical development. And that is exactly what we have going on, because we're watching some systems further out into the Atlantic. We have some areas working their way towards the Caribbean and into the Gulf of Mexico. Here's that big wide view. And you see they're all over the place. Now, first one is the one that's closest to us. This is actually just a tropical wave, which is working its way onto the west. Now, in the short term, no big issues with this. This will just continue to increase the rain chances over Florida as we head through the weekend, mainly on Sunday. After it moves into the Gulf of Mexico and it's actually moving away from Florida, that's when some of the computer models are picking up on this and showing some slow development with this. So do we get some sort of a tropical system as far as a tropical depression or tropical storm working its way into the central and the western Gulf of Mexico? Certainly a possibility. Really what that would do is just bring some heavy rains across portions of Mexico and into Texas. Then you have this one disturbance here. This is Invest 99 and then Invest 98. Now, so we've got a lot to talk about here as we go through the next several days with each one of these systems. So this is that Invest 98, a little more circulation with this one. You have more of an elongated area of low pressure with Invest 99. Now, as you continue to watch these over the next several days, the big question will be the wind shear with these, how much the wind shear is affecting these, the dry air. And if they stay very close to each other, they will also start to affect each other as far as they won't be able to really get a hold of their circulation and get going, get more organized, and that will in turn hurt these systems. So as you watch the models over the next few days, you see they basically continue on that same basic track that we've seen for several days. With Invest 98, maybe a little bit more of an erratic motion with this, and then you see a little bit more of a straight pattern with that Invest 99. Now, as we watch the models, they've been kind of back and forth. One run will say this one has a little bit better chance, and then the next one will say this one has a little bit better of a chance. There's a lot of different variables that are going to come into play over the next several days, but the latest thinking that we've seen over the past several runs is this area here is going to tend to be a little bit weaker, and this one may eventually survive at least a little bit longer, and we may end up getting a tropical depression or tropical storm. One of these could end up becoming Emily. So you have to kind of wait and see. Also, that could end up being the one in the Gulf of Mexico. So it's really too early to say which one of these or if any of them will actually make it to that named status. And also remember, we have that other area that will be working its way a bit further on to the west as we head through the next several days. So watch it all on the Fox model. We're going to start to focus in on the areas, don't want to say that would affect us, but it will be closer to us. So we have, here's that Invest 98, 99, and then we also have that disturbance. Remember, we've got the area in the Gulf of Mexico as well. So you see all these kind of moving along. The one in the middle, that would be that Invest 99 with the latest runs kind of showing just kind of fizzle out. So you've got 98 working its way a bit further to the north, but the issue with that, it's moving up into an area with a little bit drier air and also some stronger wind shear, so that may end up causing some issues with that system. And then you still have a fairly disorganized area of showers and storms working its way over towards the Caribbean. That will continue to slide on towards the west. Here's the area in the Gulf of Mexico. Remember, we're just watching so many different areas right now. It's getting much more active. That pushes on towards the west. Could have bring some pretty heavy rains across the southern end of Texas. And then we will also keep our eye on this to see exactly what ends up happening. But this is by the time we get into the middle of next week. We'll more than likely not be talking about the areas further out into the Atlantic, but starting to focus in maybe possibly on this or that Invest 98 if it can hold itself together. So a lot to talk about, a lot to keep track of, and we will keep track of all of it right here on myfoxhurricane.com.